So delighted to welcome Andy to the VidPod studio today. So Andy, I think I probably first met you in 2012.
Yeah.
And I think your relationship with our MBAs goes back much earlier than that. So our MBAs at the beginning of their MBA go up to Brathay. So what happens when they go up there?
I guess there's several levels of what we're trying to achieve with those groups. There's a fairly simple level of cohort building, building a sense of identity with colleagues, accelerating the forming of relationships with people that are from very, very different backgrounds. I think there's maybe 30 nationalities. It's very broad. So at one level, that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But the MBA relies so much on working in groups, consultancy groups in particular, that the next level really is preparing people for the behaviours that will be necessary doing that, when they may not be natural behavioural preferences depending on backgrounds. So you might come from a background where you really want to hear from the expert in the group or the most senior person in the group or whatever. You may get frustrated if you're from a different background that some people aren't seeming to contribute because they're waiting to see and so on. So we try to up the level of safety to talk about those issues, so that when the projects actually take place, and there are 3 projects across the 18-month version of the MBA, people have a bit of a language and also have a relationship that lets them talk about when you do this.
Some of that occurs in the seminar room after an activity. What kind of activities do they do?
Oh, very wide. I suppose over the years we've tried to the natural tendency is to push more and more in rather than, so we've tried to measure that. But people will be out on the lake in various kinds of craft, all requiring some degree of leadership, some degree of clarity on what my role is, some degree of a feedback loop to, when you're doing this, the boat's going over there. We need you to do more of this, and so on. So we may be using problem-solving short tasks on a kind of cyclic basis where people are taking learning from one project, which could be about communicating accurately, taking it to a next project, which could be about encouraging the generation of ideas and then selection of an idea and commitment to it, so that we're building a kind of spiral, really, of this is what I'm learning from my experiences. We'll use some quite challenging outdoor activity as well, trying to put that into a framework that feels like it's an opportunity rather than, oh my God, something's going to happen to me in the next quarter of an hour, and I'm really not keen on it. So we would use high aerial ropes course type stuff. It's distinct from some of the commercial offerings that are around nowadays, which simply rely on trusting equipment. So the stuff that we're doing, of course you need to trust the equipment, but it's very much about your colleagues who are looking after your safety. So that's a very strong metaphor, and I think on those aerial things, people who are taking photographs often start with pointing at the people at height, and what they get are pictures of nostrils and bums and things like that, and they soon realise that the pictures that are useful and interesting are the pictures of the people on the ground, and their attention and their commitment to what's happening up the tree in terms of the way that they're looking after their colleagues.
That's lovely. Thank you very much, Andy. That was fascinating.